Hey everyone, welcome. My name is Gio, and today I'm going to talk about conquering ADHD paralysis and how to really unleash your full potential. So, is ADHD ruining your focus, or is it secretly your superpower? Today we're going to talk about dopamine, procrastination, task paralysis, and how to finally win your day. So, I didn't even know what ADHD was. I just thought my brain was messed up, thinking in all different directions, hard to focus, but sometimes can get like super deep into something, and like people will talk to me and I won't even respond, and 5 seconds later I'll give them an answer. Has that ever happened to you, or had someone react like that to you? And I had to start finding some strategies that could really help me to really win with ADHD, really be able to change the way I was doing things so that I could really function at a high level in life and realize that, again, like it can be a superpower as well. So I'm hoping by the end of this video that I'm going to share some tips with you that can help you to overcome paralysis, procrastination, and really get the most out of this really unique brain that you have. I don't even know if it's your brain, but the way that your brain operates, and tap into your ADHD strengths. I'm going to talk a bit about paralysis versus procrastination versus dopamine deficiency. So ADHD paralysis, it's can feel like brain fog or overwhelm, or like, this analysis paralysis where you so many things going on that you don't know what to do. So you start getting decision fatigue. It shuts down, your ability to take action, basically. So an ADHD procrastination, it's not laziness. It's more like emotional avoidance. Like you're going to avoid boring things or emotionally loaded tasks, things that you're like, I'll leave that off. And for me, so many times I would like push things off. And then all of a sudden, like right at the wire, like the day before a test, get all the studying in. But once I get into it, it's like super good. And sometimes I feel like I don't even give myself enough time. Like I'm finally into it now, and I got this meeting coming up, or I got this appointment where, all day I was just wasting my time. I finally got into it, and then, it was too late. Dr. Edward Hallowell said, ADHD is not a disorder of attention, it's a disorder of interest. So if we can be interested in something, or find a way to be interested, like really understanding why we're actually doing it, why it's important, it can really help us to kind of focus more. And then finally, dopamine deficiency is basically, what scientists believe is like your brain underproduces dopamine. So you have a motivation crash. And individuals with ADHD have lower dopamine activity in the prefrontal cortex and the basal ganglia, which are areas involved in attention and reward. That's from the National Institute of Health neuroimaging studies. But there are ways to get unstuck. There are ways that can really help you to overcome these things, to even reset your dopamine reward system, and help you with the analysis paralysis, ADHD paralysis, which kind of feel, or the procrastination side of it as well. So the first thing, like in what works for me, my ADHD activation protocol, call it, you can make it whatever name you want, but it's brain dump. So like a to-do list, just getting all the things that I need to do, or I think I need to do, into a list. And this just helps because when they're rolling around there, like I'm also thinking of what I need to do and trying to remember these things and feeling like I'm forgetting something, which is almost distracting. And then I go check my email or something else, and 10 other things pop up, and I have my attention split into like 50 things. So once I dump it all down in the morning, what's that one thing? What's the one most important thing that I got to do today, or the 2-3 top important things I got to do today? And for each one of those things, I break it down to smaller steps. Okay, so, I got to make a YouTube video. So what are all the things I got to do? I got to do some research. I got to create an outline. I got to set up my camera and like all my stuff. And then I'm going to spend, some time to record. Also important is clear distractions, get everything out of the way. Create that block. So like having a social media blocker on your phone, it's been a huge game changer for me. Between certain times, like 8 a.m. to like 4 p.m., it's hard for me to unlock it. You make it a challenge. And then really create a reward for yourself. Okay, so like once I finish, or maybe halfway through the day, I get 20 minutes to kind of go on and check social media or go have a coffee or whatever. And what's important here is this framework. I call it 6D framework. I'll talk about 3 of the D's here. It's creating a clear decision, having some discipline, and then the third part is development. So the decision is important. Why am I doing this? Or what are the things I'm going to do? So get clear, like decide what it is. Then have the discipline, and you can use a Pomodoro timer, which blocks 20 minutes of just focus work. But the first couple of weeks, the first day, you're going to have to force yourself to just get it done. But then over time, you start developing a new neural pathway. You start developing some skills. So it's getting easier. You see that, hey, I actually can do that. And you start to create change. After development comes dedication, discernment, the ability to kind of like break away from such firm discipline, and then devotion, where it becomes easy. But we won't talk about those today. Make a decision, discipline yourself to get it done, and then you start to feel some development. So those are like a high level, some of the things that we do. But now The most important thing that was the biggest game changer for me was shifting the way I did things and when I did them. And it was all about a morning routine. Okay. So for me, I decided to start waking up early in the morning, 5 a.m. Why did I do that? Well, I got 2 kids, I run a couple companies, and when it starts getting close to 8 or 9, like kids are up, getting ready for school, wife, work, phones are going off, friends might call or text, it just gets busy. And we start having all of these other things to do. And also one thing that I noticed that a lot of people with ADHD, they also have this tendency to always help other people. Why is that? Because this thing called the helper's high. Helper's high is you get those similar kind of flood of neurochemicals, like when you're like eating junk food, going on social media, doing drugs, drinking coffee. So it fills those reward centers. And so it's like, hey, if I can do a task for someone else, it's going to make you feel good. But then what happens, you start doing things for others and you leave yourself last. And then you never get stuff done. And then you go into the cycle of, oh man, like I did it again. So it's really important to be disciplined. That's why I picked that time in the morning, which is just about me. Okay. So some keys: wake up early, have no distractions. So don't go on your phone. First thing you do is, I'm going to do some breath work, some movement. I'll do an ice bath as well. All those things are going to help clear my mind, increase dopamine naturally. And the phone will not only hijack your dopamine, but start telling you what to do today. Start directing your attention and awareness. And a little bit of movement also helps clear the mind. So 20 minutes of aerobic exercise, increase dopamine, norepinephrine, and serotonin, enhancing focus and executive function. That's from Harvard Medical School, 2019. Ice bath do very similar things. Breathwork does very similar things. So I get up, I'll do some hydration, have like a morning elixir. I'm gonna have some lion's mane in there also for cognitive help, electrolytes, just lemon and salt is good enough. If you get some sunlight, great. A few minutes of breath work, cold shower, ice bath, 20 to 30 minutes of movement. If it's just a walk, whatever. Set a clear intention at this point. You can do it right when you get up. What do I want to accomplish today? I also like to go into like a highly emotional state, like gratitude, like one thing I'm grateful for, and then set this intention. Okay. At this point, if you want to check your phone, you can, but I still wouldn't do it. I would really focus on right now. It's like, okay, like make the list of things you got to do today. And for the next 2 hours, usually. So I get back from the gym, usually go to the gym at 5:45, do these at 45 classes. I'm back by 7. Now I'm from 7 till about 9 of like clear, uninterrupted work. 9 o'clock is when I'll kind of check my phone and check my email, stuff like that. But getting those 2 hours to clear all the little tasks off, to do all the things that are kind of like backlogging, like creates a space in my brain where I feel more ability to focus. I'm not worried about these things. I get ahead of things than behind. And the way it's made me feel, my nervous system, not having all this stress, was a complete game changer. And it helps us to not fall in that helping others, the dopamine trap, the helper's high. Because it feels good to help others, but you can help some others in the afternoon, Make your priorities first about you, because it'll allow you to help others more. Because that helper's high syndrome, that always wanted to be a people pleaser and doing things for everyone else, will lead to burnout, resentment, not getting things done, beating yourself up. So the other thing is like, are you a yes person? And I was for a long time. I found myself even getting into businesses I don't want to be in because I don't want to say no to people. People ask me for help and I don't want to say no. Like, take another coaching client. I already don't have time for them. My friend really needs help, blah, blah, blah. I'm going to pay for them. I don't really want to do it. And it's okay, fine, I'll do it. Let's figure it out. But setting boundaries is important. It's protecting you and your time, and it's going to help you to kind of get the things that you can do. So setting boundaries, and a good thing is let me think about it. Because in that moment, you have this like propensity to say yes because of that kind of, I want to help others. But say, let me think about it. And then think about a response that feels good. And they're still going to like you anyways. And if they like you for who you are, they're not going to be upset if you don't give them something. If they only like you for what you can give to them, because you're a people pleaser and they know that they're taking advantage of you, then maybe, saying no, it's actually create some space in that friendship. So a mantra you can say to yourself is, I don't have to earn love by being useful. I am worthy by just being aligned with who I am. Okay. And finally, the last section is ADHD as a superpower. ADHD strengths is basically, once you get into a flow state, you can have this hyper focus. And for me, one of the best ways to get in flow states is breath work. Rhythmic breathing kind of changes the brainwave patterns. It goes from default mode network, which is the analytical mind, which is the ruminating mind, which starts thinking about all our problems, all these things we have to do, kind of pulls us out of there. And when we get into that hyper flow, they call it transient hypofrontality, that brainwave state in the brain, have incredible amounts of creativity, the ability to solve problems. When we're in this flow state with an ADHD brain, you have a lot of charisma. So if you're a speaker or you just want to share something from your heart, you're not overthinking it, ADHD brain is way more resilient. It's innovative, trend-setting. We have the ability to see patterns that other people's can't, be problem solvers in ways that other people's can't. But if we're always in paralysis and procrastination, we don't have the ability to go into these flow states. That's why it's important to set yourself up for success. Thomas Edison said, "I've not failed. I've just found 10,000 ways that won't work." And part of this process for us ADHD-minded people is to just find the process that works for you. Okay, some of the ADHD minds that were brilliant was Albert Einstein, will.i.am, Michael Phelps, Richard Branson, guys that figured out how to use their brain as a superpower and were able to do incredible things. Okay, so a metaphor that I like to use, an ADHD brain is like you have a Ferrari like with bicycle brakes or with no brakes. But if you really learn how to steer that thing well and manage the gas pedal, you can like pretty much fly. You beat every bike in the race. Okay, so in a nutshell, create that morning routine that works for you. Don't be a people pleaser, okay? And try to see that ADHD is not a limitation. If you keep telling yourself that like, this is bad, I'm a failure, you're kind of creating that negative loop, saying, okay, like if I can get in those flow states, which I've recognized a few times, if I can do that more, I can accomplish way beyond what I think is possible, okay? So don't fight your brain, understand it, support it, watch it thrive, believe in yourself, have some discipline, make a decision, dedicate yourself to it. You're going to feel yourself start to make those changes. And then from there, wildest dreams. Okay. So if you like this video, subscribe, but more importantly, like if someone has ADHD, you think they would benefit from this, share it with them. Okay. And yeah, hopefully we'll see you soon. I got some new videos coming out. I hope you like them. Please leave a comment. Let me know if you agree, disagree, you think I'm crazy. I'd love to hear from it, and it can help me create some content in the next video where I can inquire about some of your thoughts, questions, or beliefs. So I'm Gio. Thanks for listening. See you later.